Just a quick note before the video starts. I intended this to be a lot longer, but I ran out of time, so I just put together whatever I had, and this is the final product. In this video, I plan on explaining the science behind 4 scenarios that could happen in your everyday life. Those being the consumption of sugar, when you get hurt, when you see something cute, and when you are in danger and enter your fight or flight mode. So, before we get into the video, you need to know a few things so you can understand what I'm saying. Those few things are being a basic knowledge of the endocrine and nervous system, along with a basic knowledge of dopamine. So first we'll be talking about the nervous system. So, if you compare the nervous system to a big corporation, for example, its role in the company would be comparable to being the CEO. Now, the most important organ in the nervous system is the brain, and the most important part of the brain in controlling emotions is the hypothalamus. The endocrine system is what produces chemicals in the body. It regulates the amount of sugar in the blood, produces hormones, and starts the whole puberty process. The endocrine system also produces different chemicals that can affect our mood or behavior. These include but are not limited to dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol. For now, we will talk about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It is tied to the brain's reward system. The reward system activates when you do something good for your survival and produces a feeling in your mind. This feeling is happiness. We will begin talking about the scenarios because now you have all the background information you need. The first scenario we will be talking about is the consumption of sugar. Sugar is a really good energy source, and our brains have learned to really like it for that. So, whenever you eat sugar, it activates your brain's reward system. If you didn't know, there's a funny thing about dopamine where after it is produced, your brain actively seeks more. So that is the reason why whenever you eat something sugary, you usually want a lot more. Now, on to the next scenario, pain. Whenever we injure ourselves, the nerves in the damaged area send a message to the brain telling us that this area has been damaged. While pain can be very unpleasant, you wouldn't want to live without it because you could get hurt or something and you wouldn't really know until it was too late and you had an infection there. Now for our third scenario, we'll be talking about whenever you see something cute. So whenever you see something cute, your brain releases dopamine. Cute things are generally small, have an abnormally large head, usually with large eyes, and have a more rounded out shape. These are all qualities possessed by none other than human babies. It makes more sense when you think about it because, as you know, babies are generally very, very helpless. And because of that, whenever we see something cute, we have the impulse to take care of it, protect it, just make sure it has the best possible life. Now we will be on to the final scenario, the activation of our fight or flight mode. When you run out of energy or sense a threat, your body enters your quote-unquote fight or flight mode. Your hypothalamus begins to tell your lungs to start breathing faster and increases your heart rate. It then tells your adrenal glands, which sit above your kidneys, to begin producing adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol and start putting them into your blood. Adrenaline and cortisol increase the amount of glucose in your blood so your muscles have more energy to work with. Your memory begins to heighten and your pupils begin to dilate, taking in more light. All of this combined makes you a lot stronger, faster, and more attentive to your surroundings. Whatever threat you are up against, you could easily fight back or run away from. So, that's it. That's the end of the video. All 4 scenarios covered. Again, I said this earlier, but I want to say this again. I had a lot more planned for this, but I just ran out of time.